Hello, Hilltop. It's Mr. Amici again, and it's a terrific Tuesday for some PE. I hope you enjoyed your holiday break and our finger football and create your own dice activity before we left for our holiday break. Now, I thought today's lesson would be a good opportunity to talk about healthy food choices. Many of you enjoyed some delicious foods over our holiday weekend, and I thought it's important to know what the best foods to put inside your body are to create a physically healthy person. So exercising is an important way to keep your body healthy, but putting certain foods inside your body help you fuel that body for activity. So we're going to talk about our CATCH program food groups. Now, CATCH stands for Coordinated Approach to Child Health, and they break our food down into 3 different categories: our go foods, our slow foods, and our whoa foods. So we're going to go through each category of food, talk about types of food that are in each one, and how often you should eat those foods to fuel your healthy body. After we talk about each food group, we'll do a fun spelling activity where we move our bodies around and spell some of our certain words for each one of our categories. And then I've got some great virtual activities for you to do where you can make healthy food choices and play a game at the same time. Are you ready to start learning about our first category, our go foods? Me too. Here we go. Okay, so let's talk about our go foods first. Your go foods are foods that you could eat almost any time, and they're the ones that are going to be the most nutritious for you. And some of those foods include vegetables. Now that's either raw or steamed vegetables, and that can be also canned vegetables too. So there's many different ways you can get vegetables. They might come in a can, they might come fresh from the store, and you can actually cook them by steaming them. Now, a way that maybe they would not be so healthy is if you were to cook them in oil or add other sauces and fatty things to them. So the more natural that you have your vegetables, the better and more nutritious they will be for you. And now that also includes fresh and canned fruit as well. Raise your hand if you like fruit. Me too. Fruit's delicious, and fruit has natural sugars, but we want to avoid adding additional sugar to when we're having our fruit and vegetables. And now that can also come in a juice form for fruit. So if you've ever had apple juice or pineapple juice, that can also come in a can or a bottle. That's a good way to get some fruits and vegetables inside your body also. Now that includes, in our go food category, foods that are the least amount processed. Does anyone know what the word processed means? That means like chemicals or other things added to them to either make the food last longer, like a preservative, or a chemical to help it maybe even taste better. Now, taste is important to us as people. We like when food tastes good, but when we start adding a bunch of extra things into food, it makes it less and less healthy for us. So you'll see the focus of our go food category will be the most natural foods that you can come across. Now that also includes whole grain breads, pita or tortillas. Okay, those are more of like your grains. You could also have pasta or rice. Those are go foods. Now again, remember, the go foods are ones that we can have almost any time, and the foods you want to eat the most often. And now that also includes some milk products. Now when it comes to milk, skim or 1% milk would be the best option in terms of go healthy foods because it has the least amount of fat in it. Now if you remember when we talked about why is PE important, we talked about not having excess fat on your body because that can make it harder for your body to operate. We want to have some fat on our body, but we don't want to be consuming too much fat at one time or have too much of it attached to our body. So if we choose a milk choice that maybe has less fat in it, that would be healthier for us. And that also includes things like yogurt. Have you ever had yogurt before? And yogurt's very good. You just have to be careful that they're not adding too much sugar or preservatives into your yogurt. And there's things such as cottage cheese also that you could have as a go food. Now, as you see, I put up here, I've got these great demonstrations of different fruits and all the different colors that you could find fruits in. There's red fruits and vegetables, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, and tan. So you could find a healthy fruit or vegetable in just about any color. And what I like to do sometimes is maybe I try to choose my fruits and vegetables based on certain colors. Like maybe one week I'll have more red and green fruits and vegetables. And then the next week I'll choose more yellow and blue fruits and vegetables. Now remember, these are important to fuel our bodies to be physically active, and that helps us stay healthy. Now another category in our Go foods is proteins. And protein is what helps us build our muscles and keeps them strong. Now ways that you could intake protein would be eating meats. Now when it comes to eating meat, if that's something that your family chooses to do, in order for it to be a Go healthier choice, you would want to have lean meats, meaning meats that don't have a lot of fat in them. Remember we talked about not having too much fat? So some lean meats would be beef or pork that has maybe trimmed some of the fat off of there. Lean ground beef or chicken is a great meat to have because it has less fat in it also. There's also seafood like tuna and other fresh fish. Now, if you do not eat meat, that is perfectly okay. Some people choose to and some not. Luckily, there are healthy Go food choices for those that don't eat meat either. Some other things that you can do to get that protein in your body that don't involve eating meat are eating beans, split peas, maybe some lentils. There's also a thing called tofu out there that's also a healthy choice. So that's some non-meat options for you, as well as you could also have eggs, and egg whites are a great choice or source of protein without consuming meat if that's something you choose not to do. Now, there are some foods you will never find in our Go category, and those are sweets and candies and other similar snacks. Can you think of why? If you guess because there's a lot of sugar in those, you're correct. So even though they might be low in calories, they still have a high amount of sugar and fat in them that then isn't the best for our body. Now there are some things that you can have in our Go category to maybe put on top of your food to maybe make it taste a little bit better. Things like ketchup, mustard, maybe even salad dressing, mayonnaise, sour cream, vinegar. So those are all mostly natural, not very processed items that you can put on top of some of these Go foods to maybe make them taste a little bit better for you. And lastly, in our Go foods category, remember the category where you want to eat the most foods from, is things that you can drink. And the number one best thing that you can drink for your body it's water. Water is perfect for your body. There's no calories in water, there's no fat, there's no sugar. Your body needs water to stay hydrated so that those muscles and organs and everything can work well together. Now it says on here that you could have diet soda. Mr. Amici personally doesn't feel like diet soda is the healthiest choice. It might have no calories in it, but it has a lot of preservatives or chemicals that they put in there so that it still tastes good but doesn't have that sugar in there. And you could also have things like iced tea or lemonade are some good natural Go food choices when it comes to drinks. So later on in another video, Tile today, we're going to do some exercises where we work on our spelling for some of these Go foods. Until then, let's talk about our slow foods in the next category of our Catch Healthy Food choices. Okay, so now we're going to talk about that middle category, the slow foods. Now, a slow food are ones that we can eat sometimes. It maybe shouldn't be something we're eating every day, but every other day or so to have a few items from our slow foods will still help keep your body happy and healthy. All right, now some of the things in our slow food category still include vegetables, but those are vegetables that have those added sauces to them or maybe oil and fat added to them, because as we talked about before, that maybe increases the quality of the taste, but maybe doesn't make it as healthy for us. And that would include things that are like oven-baked fries, or maybe avocados. Have you ever had an avocado? Avocados are a great nutritious item to have, but they can have a lot of fat in them. So these slow group foods that are higher in fat or added sugar and are more processed than go foods. So that means there's a few more chemicals and things like that in there to either help them preserve or last longer, or to help them taste a little bit better. Now, including vegetables, there's also fruits that you can find in our slow category. Fruits like 100% fruit juice, canned fruit that's in like a syrup. Again, that syrup is for an added taste and to help that food last longer while it's in the can. And also any fruits that are dried also belong in our slow middle category. Now, there are breads and cereals as well in our slow category, such as white bread and pasta that is not whole grain. You can also find things like taco shells, French toast, waffles and pancakes. Those would all belong in our slow category, as well as biscuits or maybe some granola, if you have any of that at home. Now, there's also dairy and milk products in this slow category, and that is milk that is 2% fat. So remember we talked about in the go foods either skim milk, which means fat-free, or 1% fat would be in our go foods. In our slow foods, it's the 2% milk because there's that 1% more fat in there. And now that will increase the taste and the amount of calories. It's just not as good for us as maybe that skim or that 1% milk. Now it's also got processed cheese spreads in there. So if you're having any kind of processed cheese to maybe put on top of some of your choices, like your meat burgers or some of your ham or chicken, those will add some calories to you that maybe aren't as healthy as choosing from our go category. Now there's also plenty of meat and other protein options in our slow category. That would include chicken and turkey with the skin. So if you eat the chicken or turkey with the skin on it, that's going to increase the amount of calories, maybe increase the amount of oil and fat that's in there also. Now you can also choose things like low-fat hot dogs, Canadian bacon, and a great source of protein that would fall in our slow category would be actually peanut butter. Peanut butter and other nuts. Now, peanut butter and other nuts are not in our go category because they're higher in fat. Okay, and you can also have whole eggs cooked without fat, such as boiled or poached eggs. Those would fall in our slow category. And it wouldn't quite be a go food because there's some other things inside that egg, like cholesterol, that aren't the best thing for us to have all the time. It's still a healthier choice, but not the greatest thing that we could eat. Now, here in our slow foods, you can find some sweets and little snacks, such as ice milk bars, frozen fruit juice bars, low-fat frozen yogurt, low-fat ice cream. See how I keep using the word low-fat? So there's still fat in there, just not a lot of it. Baked chips, microwaved popcorn, and even some pretzels. Those would fall in our slow category. Now, in terms of condiments or things that you can put on food that would fall in the slow category, that would be vegetable oil, olive oil, oil-based salad dressings, low-fat mayonnaise, sour cream, and margarine. Okay, so those are some things that we can add in when we're making food that would fall into our slow category. And like we talked about, those drink options, the 2% milk, the 100% fruit juice, as well as some of those sports drinks that you might see. And let me talk to you about sports drinks for just a moment. Those are great for when you are getting that exercise time in and those electrolytes are leaving your body. That's kind of like a fuel or an energy for you. But really, we shouldn't be having sports drinks just when we're hanging around the house, because those have added sugar and things that we don't need in our body unless we're actually doing some physical exercise. So this slow category, remember, is in between our go foods and our whoa foods. So now we're going to talk about some whoa foods that maybe we should only have every once in a while as maybe a special treat. Okay, now let's talk about our final category in our catch food groups, and that is the whoa foods. And we call them whoa foods because, whoa, we shouldn't be eating these all the time. They're more of like a special treat because whoa foods are the highest in fat and or sugar and are the most processed. And I got bad news for you. Sometimes they're the most tasty, though. So that's where we really got to be mentally and physically strong to say, you know what, I might really like how some of these woe foods taste, but it's not good for me to have these all the time. Maybe only once or twice a week would be best for you. And it's all about creating that balance for yourself. You want to have a lot of the go, some of the slow, and not too many of the woe. So some may say it's all about moderation. Okay, so we want a lot of go, a little of slow, not so much woe. Let's go over what some of these woe foods are. Now, you could still find vegetables in woe foods, but the difference is how they're prepared. Meaning if they're cooked or fried in an oil, that creates a lot of fat, which then goes into our body, and it's not so great for us, like French fries or hash browns. And there's also fruit in the woe category, and that's fruits that are canned in heavy syrup. So that's a lot of added sugar and calories that we don't necessarily need, like pears canned with very sweet syrup. They might taste sweet and delicious, but they're not as great for our bodies. Our tongue might be happy, but the rest of us won't enjoy it so much. And there's the bread and cereals category for our woe foods that we shouldn't have all the time are things like donuts, muffins, croissants, sweet rolls, sweetened breakfast cereals, one of my personal favorites, and also crackers that have a lot of oil or trans fats in them. In terms of milk or other dairy products in our woe category that we shouldn't have all the time is whole milk, full fat cheese, cream cheese, or yogurt made from whole milk. So that's milk that they keep all the fat in that milk. So that's almost too much fat for our bodies for it to be healthy for us. Now, some meats or other sources of protein in your woe category would include fried hamburgers, fried chicken, bacon, fried fish. So are you seeing a lot of these woe categories items? The difference is how they're prepared. So if it's cooked in like an oil or fried in an oil, it's not as healthy for us. Lunch meats, pepperoni, ribs, hot dogs, some other sweets that you would find in this woe category that aren't so great for us: cookies, cakes, pies, cheesecake, ice cream, chocolate candy, chips, buttered popcorn. So these are all things that, again, might be tasty for us, but it's not good for the inside of our body to have these foods all the time. These are a once-in-a-while type of foods. And the drinks that would be included with that would be whole milk, regular soda. There's a lot of sugar and calories added in regular soda. Sweetened iced tea and lemonade, and other fruit drinks that have 100% fruit juice, because that adds a lot of sugar to the inside of your body that your body doesn't need that much sugar. So I want you to remember that these woe foods should just be things we have every once in a while. Our slow foods are every, few times a week, and then our go foods are things we should be eating every day. Let's take one more look at all of these. So here we are with our go, slow, and woe foods. Remember, our go foods are things we should eat all the time, every day. Our slow foods are maybe half of the days of the week sometimes, and our woe foods are those special treats. Now let me let you in on a little secret. If you keep your body physically active and you exercise and you play games and you move your body and you learn new skills, it would be okay to maybe have a couple more of these. But if you're living a life where you're just hanging out on the couch, playing video games, watching TV, you should really focus on having as many of those go foods as possible. I encourage you to always be physically active and to eat healthy foods. But if you want to be physically active, it would be okay to maybe sprinkle in a couple of more special treats. But our main diet, the main thing we should be eating, is from this go category. Now, in the next tile, we're going to go over a few body weight exercises, and we're going to work on spelling out some healthy or some food choices from each one of these categories. Click on the next tile, and let's get a little workout in. See you there.